On today's episode of We'll Talk Back, we are talking queens as opposed to bitches.
As always, thumbs up, thumbs down, like, subscribe, and share.
Welcome to We'll Talk Back. I am Marcy. I'm here with the wonderful
Rowan.
And today we're talking do better in areas in which we could do better. Actually, this is a do better that I identified. I share with Rowan. We may have different opinions, but as of late, I've noticed a lot of women identifying themselves as queen or addressing each other as queen. And at first, I'll say, you know what? Some people identifying themselves as queen, they're not really carrying themselves in a manner that is royal, that is upstanding, that stands above the norm. It's rather destructive behavior, things that are not so highly regarded, in my opinion. On the other hand, though, I said there's so many songs, so many communication in which a woman is not identified as a queen, but rather as a bitch, hoe, all these other things. So I said, you know what? Well, even if you're not acting in the manner of a queen, I would rather charge and challenge someone to try to address their female counterpart or as a queen as opposed to a bitch, because that's a common term too in addressing a woman.
So for most of this particular episode, I will probably be silent because you are told if you don't have anything good to say, be quiet. I oppose that statement slightly. Okay, so in regards to this, understand, it's not a gender across thing. I believe that guys should first and foremost understand what they have in a female, whether that be grandmother, mother, significant other, wife, daughter, aunts, and there's a level of respect that needs to be put forward. So I shouldn't have to tell a guy that they ought to be appreciating a woman and treating her as a queen and then addressing her in that matter. Now, as it pertains to gender, same gender, calling each other bitches, I'm all for it because some female have some very bitchy tendency and some of them act like bitches and there's no other word created yet in the English dictionary to address them by. For example, prime example, we see this every week, reality TV.
Yes.
You have these females, they are tearing off each other's clothes, they're ripping out each other's hair. Am I supposed to run over to them in their minute of hot intensity? They're cursing up a storm, doing oh, queen, calm down.
But maybe
queen, calm down. The cop is no, bitch. You better quiet down. The cop is coming.
But if you are called a queen, it's a matter of cognitive messages. You know, you hear something over and over and over again. It starts sticking. So maybe if you're continually addressed as a queen over and over again, maybe, and maybe it's my naive hope, maybe it's my naiveness that the behavior then will change to go along with it. But as long as you keep it, now I'm hearing people calling their little daughters, but that bitch over there. I mean, when you're identifying your child as that, and they're hearing that, I have heard it, as opposed to princess. You know, it comes along with a form of conduct, expectations. It's more soft,
yes,
less rough, less abrasive. I just think the message could somehow trigger a different behavior, and maybe I'm just hopeless. You know, maybe my hope is unrealistic.
Children, that when you bring that up, I'm sorry for laughing.
But you've heard it.
I have heard it.
Yes,
I have heard it. I have heard parents call their children bitches, digger, MFers, and so on and so forth. And that I conclude to a lack of education, because if this individual is educated, I don't mean degree or anything like that, but knowledgeable, if they understand the damage that calling such child or exposing such child at a young age, under age 18, to those terminology brings, yes, absolutely. My issue that I have with calling, and again, a true queen does not have to ask to be called a queen.
Well, she carry herself as such. Of course.
This is normal and naturally given to her.
Right.
The problem that I have that I really, really have is, for example, I viewed a female individual. She was arguing with some guy in the parking lot at work.
Mm-hmm.
I was out to lunch, so I pulled my window down like a nosy black person. So I listened to the argument. The argument was about they were deciding who was going to claim what kid, and the father just beat her to the punch and claimed all the kids.
Time fight.
Exactly. So she was cussing up a storm in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
She started throwing things at him and just started carrying on outside in the parking lot. Mind you, she worked in the same building. Now, one of the shoes that she threw went off her car, came on mine. So I couldn't get out the car and be like, "Oh my God, Queen, don't hit my car." I'm like, "Bitch, if you throw another shoes up my car,
but if you said
we
Queen,
gonna have a problem."
If you say Queen, she probably would have entered into such a shock that her whole demeanor would change.
No, she wasn't, because
and it's something about the message and the power
we had to end up calling the cops for her. So through that whole dialogue, it's hard to, "Oh, Queen, can you please not hit my car?"
Something that I'll have to adapt to too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I like people to behave in a manner in which
the term queen, it comes from royalty, it comes from prestige, it comes from etiquette, it comes from class. And if someone is not portraying those characteristics, I feel like now we're lessening the word.
We're not lessening the word, because some people won't accept it. Some people won't accept it. They'll just rebuke it right away. I feel like for the ones who do, it could help lift them up. I know for a fact some people be like, "No, you ain't calling me that," and that's fine. They'll stay in their ratchet lead. But for somebody else who wants to accept it, it could help uplift them.
This idea,
it may be the first time that ever happened to them.
As far as this idea goes, I'm just somewhere in the middle as far as seeing it work, because I believe that, like I said, the terminology Queen has a prestige level up here.
It does.
And these individuals, they have another prestige level down here. And it's hard for you to bring Queen down to meet them and give them the same characters. I think that individual has to elevate themselves up to the status of a queen.
Well, we call them that, and then it's up to them to act the part. At least to start to act the part.
Okay,
as far
so
as what they know.
Immediately, all females, no matter what you're doing.
Yes, woman.
Even if I see you getting a mugshot, instead of me saying bitch, I'm going to be like, Queen.
And you must realize that you may say Queen and they like, hell no, I'm a bitch. And then you leave them alone and they stay in their league. They made that choice for themselves. And it's nothing we could do about it.
Okay, so going off this notion, is it no longer head bitch in charge and we're not going to say head queen in charge?
That don't make any sense.
I just want to know what terminology we're using moving forward.
No. That's over. That's on override.
Okay.
Overload. We can't go there because queen is the highest. So I don't know why you need to be the queen.
But you know how they normally say head bitch in charge.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to say, are we now head queen in charge?
That don't make any sense
Since
to me.
everyone's
Just call
queen.
yourself a
Since
queen.
everyone's queen.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a head queen in charge?
Not that I know.
Okay.
You asking me too much right now. I'm just saying, let's just get in the habit of identifying each other as queens. And I'm sure people could respond and say, I don't want to be called that. And so, hey, you won't be. And that's it. But but for every time you're going to call another woman a bitch, just think that there is the alternative to address her like a queen, a woman, something of a higher standard. It's up to her whether she want to act the part, but just do your part in addressing her in a more acceptable manner, a more respectful manner, I should say.
And as always, continue being the best queen that you can be.
I am that. Guard your heart and your behavior, because everything you do flows from it.